Okay, so I kind of just wanted to show y'all how I do start planning and scheduling my solo road trips and camping trips. So typically what I do for safety reasons is I create a itinerary and a checklist on an Excel spreadsheet. This is so I can give it to my friends and family before I go on my trip. And of course, since I'm by myself, this is just for safety reasons. But so I'll show you just a little snapshot of my planning process. I'm going to start planning a West Coast road trip so I can finish the West Coast next year very soon. So I'm going to share that with you all, the full details of my planning process. So this is just a quick snapshot. But anyways, so this is a copy of my spreadsheet that I use for my 16-day camping road trip out on the East Coast. As you can see, what I generally do, once I get the idea in my head, I start out with locations. So I decide everywhere I want to go, add that to my spreadsheet, and then from there I start working on, my dates, how long I want to stay everywhere, what I want to do while I'm there. So that's my highlights here. And then, of course, my campgrounds, which is also here on my second tab. So it shows the location, each campground that I'm staying at, the address, where I reserved it at typically. And then as I was booking, I just kind of marked them green or put yes here. So I knew that I was booked somewhere. And then whenever I'm staying by myself, I generally go with campgrounds that are very populated, or at least that I think are going to be populated. I don't do dispersed camping because I'm by myself and I'm not brave enough to do that just yet. So I typically like to stay somewhere that I know is like a family campground or a state park or somewhere where I know that there's going to be other people or at least someone working at the campground just for, my own peace of mind. So as you can see on this trip, like I did spend a little bit over $700 on campgrounds for this trip, which is more than you probably could spend. Like you could definitely do a lot cheaper, but I kind of went with popular campgrounds for this trip because, I wanted to be safe, and I had the money for this trip to spend a little more. So for those safety reasons, like I said, I spent a little bit more money and stayed at what I thought were safe campgrounds. So yeah, you could spend a little less on this, of course. I did go a little bit more expensive for this trip because I wanted to be safe. And also it was my only trip for the year that I had planned anyways, so I really didn't mind it. And if you think about it, if you stayed at a hotel at all of these places, like you would have spent triple that amount there. So anyways, my other tab here just includes a snapshot, the dates, location, campground, the drive time to my next stops. And then the very last tab I have here is my expenses, which I didn't keep track of my expenses. I'm not going to lie. I planned to, I was going to do it, and I didn't. But I did actually keep track of my gas. I haven't uploaded it here yet, but I took a picture of all of the gas pump anytime I got gas anywhere, and I calculated it once I got home. So I haven't added that there, but that was the only thing that I did keep track of. I wanted to keep track of food and activities too, but I didn't. I YOLO'd too hard. But anyway, so yeah, this is typically what I do when I get the idea in my head, a general idea of where I want to go. I just start planning on a spreadsheet that I create for myself, and I edit it and add to it until the trip comes. So that's my process. And then I also keep this checklist with me. So I had this printed off too for my road trip. I kept it beside me. That way I always knew, where I was going, a general idea of what I wanted to do each day at each place. And then also in my notes here, if I didn't add something to the spreadsheet and I saw something like on TikTok or Pinterest or something, and I wanted to remember to make it to that point view or something, or just a note for myself, I've put it here. And yeah, that's typically how I start planning my trips. And like I said, I'm gonna start planning a West Coast road trip really soon. So I'll kind of keep y'all in the loop and through the planning process with that. That way you can see the full process for me on how I start planning. But I would love any tips and tricks that you all have for your solo road trips as well.